Today we are going to be canning up these baked beans. We're going to start by rinsing off all of our beans, draining them, and then we're going to get them boiling on the stove. This recipe is super simple and straightforward. I will link it down below, but it is the perfect recipe to teach you how to use a pressure canner. We're going to bring these to a boil and then boil them for 5 minutes. These are now boiling. I'm going to bring the heat down to just a gentle simmer. I'm going to set my cute timer for 30 minutes. While these are cooking, I'm going to start on the bacon and onion. Then it is 1 onion, and then some garlic. This is garlic that I grew in my garden. Super pumped about that. And then we need some bacon. This is bacon that us and some friends raised together. But you cut this into some small-ish chunks. All right, now we're going to get this bacon cooked up. So once the bacon is lightly browned, but not black and crispy, you can start taking it off of the heat. So that is what we're going to do here. And into that same pan goes the onion and garlic. And these sit until we're ready to use them. While the onions and garlic are cooking, we are going to make our sauce. So we're going to start with some bouillon paste, about 1.5 teaspoons to 1.5 cups of water. Three-quarters of a cup of sugar, some tomato paste, 1/4 cup of vinegar, 1/2 cup of molasses, 1/4 cup of ketchup. This is ketchup that I canned from the garden. It is the best ketchup I have ever tried. And I'm going to add the rest directly into my mixture because this bowl is getting way too full. So I've got my onions and garlic here. They are all cooked down. We're going to add the bacon back to the pan. We're going to add all of the beans. And then our sauce mixture. And 2 tablespoons of Dijon mustard. And then 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire. I was pondering, I'm going to have to fill my canner anyways, and this will only produce about 5 pints or so. So I'm also going to can up some ground beef. They take the same amount of processing time, which is 75 minutes, same amount of pressure and everything. So to can up ground beef, all we're going to do is cook up the ground beef first. I know that seems kind of counterintuitive. It doesn't have to be cooked all of the way, you just want it cooked most of the way. Especially since I have this giant frozen chunk. I am going to can up about 4 pounds of beef today. Just see how many pints that gets me. Let's get this cooking. Now the thing about ground beef is that not everybody likes it canned. It does have kind of a unique texture. It's very soft, very squishy. My husband ends up referring to it a little bit like Taco Bell beef, if you know that really soft texture. For me, I don't mind the taste and the texture. What I really love about canning up beef is that it is so convenient. Whenever I need a meal, I can pop it open, heat it up, and we are ready to go. The other thing is it clears up a ton of freezer space, and then, God forbid, the power were to go out, all of your meat is safe. That is just a handful of the reasons that I think pressure canning is totally worth it. But of course, you have to decide for yourself. Start with a small batch first and go from there. Now, all of our baked beans and our ground beef is cooking on the stove still. While we are cooking up our ground beef, I'm just gonna briefly talk about pressure canners. So when I was first looking into pressure canners, there was a few that kept popping up. There was the Presto canner, there was the All-American canner, and then there was this 4 jars pressure canner. I did quite a bit of research and I ended up landing on this 4 jars pressure canner, mostly because the cost was very reasonable and it seemed very user-friendly. This is not sponsored. I actually bought this with my own money, but I am an affiliate for 4 Jars. So if you wanted to buy the pressure canner, there's a discount code down in the description box. No worries if you don't want to use it, but I really, really love this canner and wanted to explain why. So first off, this canner does not have any of those screws like the All-American one. It literally just clicks into place, which I think is super cool. So it's got the safety seal and you can do 2 layers of jars. Let's get our canner ready to go. So it comes with 2 layers here. In the bottom here, there's just this little piece. I have that in the bottom. I assume that is so these do not buckle under pressure. I assumed it was just an extra support. I keep it in. This goes with the open side facing down. And for this canning recipe, we are going to be doing 3 quarts of water in here. You of course need water in your canner to create the steam, which then creates the pressure. And we're going to do a little bit of vinegar. Vinegar is just so we don't get those watermarks in the canner. So let's start with our 3 quarts of water. Quart number 2. And while that is filling, let's put in our 2 tablespoons of vinegar. So first we're going to rinse out our jars with some hot soapy water. We do not have to sterilize these jars because the pressure canner will do that for us, but we do still want them to be clean, of course. These have all been through the dishwasher, but I'm just going to rewash them just in case. So let's take a peek on the ground beef. So it is pretty much all cooked except for a couple little pieces here in the middle. So I'm going to let it go for about 1 more minute, breaking up these chunks as much as I can. Oh yeah, that's a big chunk. Okay, perfect. Now let's take this off of the heat so we can warm up our canner. Now don't put this too close to the wall or your countertops, it will burn. One year I put it too close to the counter here and I burned my counter. So try not to do that when you are pressure canning. Give it a little bit of room here. Now what we're gonna do is just fill up our canner with the jar. So the jars have been heating up. Yes, they are nice and hot. Perfect. So we are going to use our jar lifter. We don't want to get burned. And working in small amounts, we're going to use a canning funnel. This one from 4 Jars has a little measurement thing here, so you know how much headspace you can comfortably use. So we have our very hot ground beef. When we are canning up meat, you want to try and avoid getting as much of the grease as possible in your canned goods. So I'm just using a little strainer here to scoop it out. And again, we are just kind of loosely packing it in. So just like that. Grab our next jars. When we are canning, we want to make sure that we're leaving an inch headspace. Using our canning funnel, you can see it basically goes to this bottom ring here. So all of these look really good. Now we're going to take some salt, and each pint gets half a teaspoon of salt. Now we'll take a paper towel that is dipped in some vinegar, and we are going to wipe the rims really well. You want to make sure that you're inspecting your jars as we do this. You don't want any cracks or they will not seal properly. Then we can take our lids and gently place them on top. There are some jar companies that request that you pre-warm the lids. I don't believe you have to pre-warm for Bernardin, and I don't believe you have to pre-warm for 4 Jars, which is what I'm using today. Make sure your hands are clean, of course. And then the rings go on fingertip tight. Fingertip tight does not mean reefing on it with your wrist. It is just fingertips. If you do it too tight, then your jars could burst. If you do it too loose, then your jars don't necessarily seal as well. So again, no wrist action, but you want it to be a little bit tight. So now we're going to gently lower them into the canner, making sure that as best as you can, your jars are not touching. I'm going to take out a couple while we are putting some in. We'll rearrange them a little bit once we have our beans canned up. So again, we'll take our hot pork and beans and our hot jars, and we will start ladling it in. This recipe should make about 5 jars of pork and beans. And again, we want about an inch of headspace without jam packing it in there. That looks great. Sometimes you might accidentally overfill a little bit. It's okay, just scoop out what you need. And again, making sure that we're wiping the rims with our vinegar cloth, inspecting all of our jars. Adding on our lids. And then our rings. The lid goes on. You can see here and here there are some divots. So we're going to put the lid on and listen. So you want to hear that air coming out and then click it into place. And we're making sure that we can see the dial here. So basically we're going to let this go on high heat, making sure it's clicked in completely. We're going to let it go on high heat until the steam starts coming out of here. See how it's just a steady stream? We are going to let the steam vent for 10 minutes. And then we will put the weight on. This has been venting for 10 minutes now. So I'm going to take my weight and place it on top. I need 15 pounds of pressure, which is what this weight is for my elevation. You might need a less amount of pressure. You just have to go based off of what your elevation is. Typically for all recipes, I'm 15 pounds across the board. Now we're going to wait here until this little dial hits the 15. And then we're going to start our processing time. If your pressure was 10 pounds, you would wait until the dial hits the 10. If it was 12, you'd wait until it hit the 12, and so on and so forth. It is kind of loud, but once it comes to pressure, you'll see that this starts to rock. That's how you know it's at the perfect pressure point. So we are going to set our timer for 75 minutes. Our timer just went off. I'm going to turn the heat off and then let it come down naturally. So this has been sitting, it is now at 0. It's still warm. Let's see if we can open it. So just unclicking, carefully releasing the steam away from you if there is any. Now I like to sit it with the lid just slightly ajar for a little bit longer, just to make sure that the jars do not have any chance of cracking. So this is set for about 15 minutes or so. We are just going to open it up. And then I'm just going to put a towel down. And again, we're very careful taking jars out. You don't want to bash them on anything. But here is our ground beef. And our pork and beans. But you can hear this one didn't. Oh, it looks like this one didn't seal either. Well, the good news is we were planning on having one of these pork and beans for dinner. So if your jars do not seal, they aren't, of course, not shelf stable. So you're either going to use them within the next few days after you put them in the fridge, or you can freeze them, which kind of defeats the purpose. So just try and plan a meal using these recipes for the next couple days. So I'm going to use the pork and beans tonight, and then I will make something with ground beef tomorrow. But we are going to let these cool down completely before throwing them on the pantry shelf. And that is a wrap on how to use your pressure canner. I hope that this tutorial was simple and easy and kind of took the stress out of pressure canning. If you have any other tips, tricks, questions, comments, anything, put them in the comments down below. I love to hear from you. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you so much more than you know. Take care.